Hey there. Mark Bowden, Michael Leckie here with you on our Career Ask Me Anything, where we take the experience we have from working with some of the most senior executives and even G7 world leaders and bring that down to the questions that you have for your career right now. So Mark, go ahead. I know you got a question today from, I believe, from Anonymous. So what does Anonymous have to say?
Anonymous. So Anonymous says, I'm the lead analyst at a company with great career prospects. However, the company has a culture of spending a lot of time with colleagues after work. I'm an introvert and find the extra small talk draining. I also prefer to spend my free time with my family or on my own projects. How do I decline work social events without being seen as someone who isn't a team player? Tricky one off the top of my head, Michael. So you go first. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, the first thing I think of is you might want to start mooting it about that you're a great team player who's a bit of an introvert and doesn't always attend things after work and has a lot of family responsibilities. Even saying, I wish I could go out with you guys tonight. I've got some stuff with the kids, some things going on. It'd be great to hang out and spend the time, even though I'm a bit of an introvert and that kind of stuff's hard for me. But again, and I've said this, I think I said it the last couple of videos we recorded, but I love that idea of hiding in plain sight and just saying who you are. I think also, in addition, you need to think about what happens at these events and can you strategically pick one or two that you can participate in. What it brings me back to is I used to do a lot of work with the Gallup organization, and we used the Gallup Q34 assessment that kind of looked at your strengths. And there was a person who didn't have any of the strengths normally associated with a salesperson, like get out there, talk to people, glad hand, work the room. They were very focused. They were introverted. They didn't like that type of thing. However, they were one of the best salespeople there because what they had was strategy and they had discipline. And so they would say, I'm going to go to the cocktail hour. I know exactly who I'm going to talk to, in what order, how I'm going to introduce myself, what brief conversation I have, and how I'm going to move through there and get the hell out of there, quite frankly, because I don't want to be there. But they took their own strengths. So you have strengths, even though you have labeled yourself or others have labeled you an introvert. Figure out, how do you show up best for a brief period of time at which of those? Get strategic, get thoughtful about it, and then make some choices there. You don't have to go to all of them. You don't have to sit out drinking beers all night with all of the people there when you don't want to be there or you can't be there. But you can do enough of that to make a showing. And I think you can also hide enough in plain sight to let people know, oh, well, that's why Mark left, but that's cool. Mark's a total team player. Mark, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's brilliant advice. Because here's my problem with this question, Michael Leckie, and I'll be a little bit harsh because this is from Anonymous. It felt to me like the question was saying, look, can I get, up to the level I want in this organization without actually being a part of the team culture as it stands at the moment? And look, we'd all love a world where you can be whoever you want to be and everybody else will absolutely fit in with you and make it work for you. But I'm sorry, that just isn't how the world works. It just isn't, okay? So you will have to compromise around this. And I think that's what Michael Leckie just gave there is, look, here's a potential compromise. It's not every event, but you're going to have to show up to some events and you're going to need to strategize around that. And you're going to need to find it within yourself and pull it out within yourself. What is that more extrovert element of you that you can pull out and show up to that for the right amount of time? So it really is about compromise. And listen, when we make compromises, we have to know that it's worth it. So look, you've said that this company has great career prospects. So you've got to think, what are they worth to you? What is this worth for you? And what would you pay in order to achieve that? And then you've got to find that resource. You've got to find it within yourself. You've got to go, look, I am going to pay an evening away from, the other commitment that I love to do, or my family that I love to be with. And I'm going to pay with the, extreme energy that it takes. Why? Because some things are worth the cost. And if this is worth the cost for you, you're going to have to pay. And here's why. because if you don't, somebody else will, and they will win over you, because it isn't a fair world where you can be everything that you just want to be and expect everybody else to fit in. Some people may find that a little bit extreme.
Yeah, you point out something really, really, really important here. And these are not my words, and I'm trying to remember who I'm stealing them from. But competence is culturally determined. And so where competence in one place, you can go to one organization and what you bring does not make you competent, whereas another place it makes you very competent. If you are engaging in a culture that is all about that social aspect of things, you're not going to be able to be fully competent in that culture unless you do to some extent. And what's interesting here, and I love what you said, is is the juice worth the squeeze here? Because if this is the wrong organization for you, you need to consider that, because you're right, the organization is probably not going to bend to fit you. You're going to have to bend to fit the organization. I was working with a very, very senior executive, a C-suite executive of a massive corporation, and we were talking about what his next role was. I said, look, the worst thing we could do is have you get asked to be the CEO of a major global corporation where this is not a fit for you. You do not want to be the CEO of the wrong place. You want to be in the right place. And even if you're the CEO at the very top of the house, there's only so much you can change the organizational culture and at any period of time. And there has to be a real reason to change it. So you have to find the organization that's right for you. Now, I think that this organization still could be right for Anonymous with just a little bit of flex on their part and some strategic flex, but you really do have to think that through. And that was a great insight, Mark, and it reminded me that, competence is just culturally determined or contextually determined. So if you've got a great question to ask Mark and Michael here in the Career Ask Me Anything, as we mentioned at the beginning, it's michaelleckie.com/ask, or just, put it in the comments down below, send us a direct message, whatever you want to do, and we'll be happy to look at your questions and feature them on a future segment of our Career Ask Me Anything. Thanks for joining us.